Today we're going to make a cute little gift card holder. I already have my fabric cut. I have some fusible interfacing medium and my two pieces of fabric that will be used. I have one for the lining and then one for this exterior print, and then this is going to be for the little strap. These are cut to 10 inches wide by 3.5 inches this way here. Same for all four of these pieces here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is just a 4x4 square. So your first step is going to be to fuse your interfacing onto your fabric pieces. Mine has a little rough side, so I know which side goes against the fabric. So I'm going to take my fabric wrong side over that stabilizer and just center it so that none of the stabilizer is peeking over the edges. Follow the package directions and go ahead and fuse that into place. And then I will repeat that for my other piece as well. Rough side up, wrong side of the fabric facing the interfacing. All right. Then for your strap piece here, what I like to do is I just make traditional binding out of it, double folded binding. And so go ahead and fold that in half. It's a square, so it doesn't matter which way. Make that center crease. Then go ahead and open that up. This is the wrong side of the fabric. It's now facing up. I'm going to fold this up towards that center seam, iron this edge, and then repeat on this other edge. All right, and then you're gonna fold it in half again, making sure that those folded edges are in alignment, and iron one more time. Then I'd like you to take this to your sewing machine and go ahead and sew along this edge here to keep that secure, and just so it's symmetrical, put a top stitch on this bottom side as well. We'll go do that now. So you can see I top stitched both of those long edges so that it looks nice and finished. Next we're going to make, you can see on here I have curved edges for the flap that comes under. This is how I did that. I just took one of my pieces of fabric, folded it in half kind of the long way so that it's completely folded evenly, and then I'm going to use a Sharpie just so you can see it better, but I would use a fabric marking pen if I were you at home. And I just kind of eyeballed and just curved this slightly like that. I think I'm just, well, yeah, just like that. Just kind of let you see that a little bit better. Just curve that, and then I have a rotary cutter, and I just cut along my marked edge to make that curve. So if you like the way that is, keep it. If you wanted a steeper curve, you can always cut more. And if it's too steep and you don't like it, you gotta start all over, unfortunately. And then go ahead and take this piece and stack it on your other piece of fabric, and you're going to then cut so that these pieces are identical. Kind of use my first piece as a template here. All right, so now we are ready to begin our construction. I'm going to have this be my exterior print so that when I open it up, this inside is going to be this more of a teal color. And so I'm going to take my strip. It is 4 inches as opposed to this is 3.5, so it's going to stick out a little bit more. But go ahead and measure 5 inches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then start your strap there. And just center it as best as you can. You can see it does stick out a little bit more than what that fabric does. Pin it in place, and just the biggest thing is make sure that it's even. If it's crooked, it's going to look goofy when you're done. So pin that in place. The next thing you'll do then is take your lining piece and put that right sides facing your exterior piece, and then pin it together so that it stays in alignment. All right, once you have it pinned together, you're going to go take this to your sewing machine, and you're going to sew here, start here, go up follow the curve and then back down again. Do not sew this bottom edge, leave that unsewn. We'll go do that now. So once you have that sewn around this perimeter here, on the curved portions, I like to take my scissors and just make little snips along those raw edges. That way when we turn this right side out, it'll lay a little bit more smooth on that curve. It won't be so uneven. And so make little snippets. My scissors is causing me issues this morning. You can kind of see just little snips so that you snip the raw edges. Do not snip the seam on accident. That would not be good. All right. Next then is you turn this right side out. When you turn it right side out, make sure that the band comes to the side of the exterior fabric print, okay? If you have a crochet hook, that sometimes is kind of handy to get this to turn right side out. For my example, I don't have one with me here today, is I'm going to use my pen and just have it unclicked so that the ink doesn't get on my fabric. And so I take my pen, I unclick it, and then just put that in the center and use that to kind of push out my seams so that they lay nice and smooth against the edges there. Okay, so next step then is we're going to take care of this bottom edge and get that looking finished, okay? So go ahead and turn the raw edges inwards by, I would do about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch. I wouldn't do any more than 1/2. And you're just going to tuck that in. Sometimes it takes a little bit of manipulation here. Once you have it folded back together and even, go ahead and pin it together so it doesn't move on you. And same on the other side over here. All right, then go ahead and make sure that it's nice and square. If it's not square, it's going to look goofy when you finish it. And that looks pretty good to me here. So go ahead now then and top stitch that end closed. All right, you can see I sewed that bottom edge so that my raw edges are now all encased. And you know what, I just realized I lied. When you flip this out, the strap has to go on the side of the lining. It's not a big deal. You can just flip that over now. So my exterior print, there's no strap on there. Inside, I have it this way. So now that you have it the right way, go ahead and pin around the perimeter to get the edge of the seam right on the edge of where that fold is. And when I use my pen, I kind of already got it that way. Now I'm just kind of pinning it so that when I top stitch it, it doesn't adjust as much as it sometimes can. So pin around the perimeter, and you might have to move some of these at this next step. Okay, so now we are ready to do that final assembly. So go ahead and put your lining side up. This fabric here is going to be folded over by, I think, about 2.5 inches. So when you fold it over, tuck it under that strap. And if you have pins in the way, you can move them as you need to. And I'm going to go 2.5 inches up. And if you have a gift card or a credit card you want to check this with, you can just insert that now to see if you want it to go up more or if that's good for you, whatever you think. And then my fold is going to go here. I think that's pretty. I might go up just a stitch more here. I might do 2 3/4 is what I'm going to have mine be on, but it's your personal preference or whatever you want to do. So once you have that folded where you want it, go ahead and adjust your pins so that they go through both pieces of fabric. I've got my top fold and then the back edge, and then same for the bottom part here. Now I have found when I sew this, when I top stitch this next part, what I'm going to have you do is I want you to top stitch from here to here, stop. Do not top stitch this part here, otherwise that band gets too tight and it just lays really goofy. And then so you don't do that section and you start here, top stitch this whole perimeter all the way here, stop right when you get to the strap, skip this section, and then top stitch that very bottom edge. We'll go do that now. All right, so I top stitched that whole perimeter minus that strap section, and that's what it looks like. So now you can see the difference. This first one, I folded mine up a little more than I did with the one I showed you here, but you can see the difference with the lining being a different color. I kind of like that. It complements it more, and it's just a little bit more appealing to the eye. But I hope you like this tutorial. Please don't forget to like and subscribe my station.